this is Fat Guy Flies RC. We're now going to assemble, well, first of all, big shout out to Hobby Zone for sending out the MIG 29 for me to review, and I've already done the unboxing, so now you're going to follow along as I assemble the plane. Now the only gluing involved is the horizontal or the vertical stabilizers, otherwise known as rudders. They only go on one way, okay? The white graphic to the outside, the red is on the inside, so they're going to go like this. Alrighty, now one thing you're going to want to do, because once you glue on these rudders, the servo is going to be very hard for you to service in case you have a problem. So, I mean, it's not impossible. There is servo tape that's colored that covers, that runs here. You could undo it and pull it out, but the problem is the connection point is going to be buried. It's going to be underneath, but it's going to be buried. So the first thing we're going to do is check the servo and make sure it's centered and working properly. There's several different servo testers out there. I just happen to like this one here. Whatever servo tester you get, you just want to make sure it's centered and working correctly. So we're going to plug that in and make sure that, yeah, my servo is working correctly. All right, let's go ahead and do the other one while we're doing that, just to make sure. Okay, pot of the side goes up. Yeah, okay. All right, so now, and that's the only, everything else you can test independently, or after you put it together. So the first thing we're going to do is attach the rudders. Now, you want to pay attention to the polarity. There's these little plugs here. This is where you're going to plug in your servo lead. And if you look, the light side wire is down, and you're going to want to hook, always hook polarity is always light to light, dark to dark. So if the light side is down here, I'm going to turn this to where they're going to line up, and I know that my little pigtail, it just plugs in there, and it's got a little locking. You're going to feel it kind of lock in place, and I'm making sure that my light side lines up with my light side. I'm going to kind of tuck that like there, and this is going to lock in place, actually covering. In fact, let me go ahead and cut that little servo label off, because I don't need to have that in the way. Be careful not to cut a wire, of course. Okay, because that's going to tuck underneath there, and it's going to be covered by that structure there. And the nice thing about how this goes on, it kind of locks, the whole servo, rudder just kind of locks in place. And so it kind of holds itself in place as the glue's drying. So let's go ahead and lift it up out. It kind of locks itself in. Lift that up off there, grab my glue. Now I've already taken a razor blade and scored everywhere that the glue, where the foam was going to, bare foam was going to be touching bare foam. Okay. All right. Put that in place. Get that lined up there. Let that kind of seat on in there. All right, now it's in there. I'm going to kind of pull it apart, let the string get a little bit of air in there. See, it looks stringy. And then I'm going to press it back down on there again, holding that in place for a little while. Making sure that little servo is tucked up underneath there. Just kind of hold that in place, okay, for just a few moments. Okay, let's turn it around. And since it kind of locks in place, this is kind of nice because it'll help hold that in place, make for a better seal. Yeah, that is nice and even there. All right, so we're going to come over here. Again, we're going to hook, paying attention to polarity. Okay, my light side is running down, so I'm going to turn the wire to where the light side lines up, polarity, light to light, dark to dark. I don't care who makes your servo, what manufacturer, whatever, light to light, dark to dark, always. Always, always, always. This is the part with having glue on your fingers. All right. Okay, so light is down. I'll lock that in. You gotta have to finagle that in there. You'll kind of feel it lock into place. Okay, as my model fights me, light to light, dark to dark. Okay, lay that right there. Some glue everywhere where the foam is going to be touching, foam to foam. Okay. I'm not going to be chinchy with the glue. Get that locked in there like that. Hold that in place for just a moment. Okay, then I'm going to pull it apart. Let that get kind of stringy. You can kind of see them strings. Let air get in there. All right, then I'm going to lock it back down in place there. Kind of locking that in there. It's nice. It locks itself in place, so makes for a nice seal. And then when you get done, they should look nice and even right down the axis like that. And they do. So let's let that. So what we're going to do for now, so we're going to let that dry. That's in there nice. Okay. Try not to hit it. Go ahead and do some of our little peripheral work. Like you got your nose cone, got your antenna. That just kind of screws in there. Like that. There we go. Nose cone goes on like that. All right. Now, you got your two little, we're going to turn our attention to the wings. Got two pigtails hanging out. Okay. All right, one is labeled flap, one is not labeled at all for the wings, okay? So the one that's not labeled is ailerons, the other one is obviously flap, okay? Let's go ahead and grab our wings, grab our wing spar, okay? Got your hole there where your wing spar is gonna go. I'm gonna kind of do a twisting motion, push any foam that might be residue in there out, okay? You've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 screws. You'll need 4 for the wings. And this gets screwed in from the bottom, okay? So, go ahead, grab the one that's flap. Same deal, light to light, dark to dark. Paying attention to my polarity, light to light, dark to dark. You're gonna say, well, my flap one's got more stuff to it. Well, it's got the light that's on also white in there for power. And the one that's aileron, light to light, dark to dark, always, always, always. No matter who makes your servo, it's always light to light, dark to dark, okay? Going to fish. You got more room in the wing, so fish that in back in there to the wing. Get it lined up on your wing spar, okay? If I can get model stand not to argue with me. Okay. You just have to kind of finagle to get your wires and everything lined up to where everything's going to fit nice and flush. You don't want anything binding. Sorry, I got my back to you, I know. Come on. Okay. All right. That should be in there. Oh, oh, oh. Be careful, I got a wire. Oh shoot, I grabbed the whole of the rudder there. Okay. These are just things you have to do. You may have to fight with it a little bit. Let me turn this towards you. Hopefully those rudders won't touch. They shouldn't. Okay. I've always said a tight fitting model is a well put together model. Okay? You don't want any wires to bind. And that's the issue I'm having right now. So I'm making sure my wires aren't binding. Okay? Let me get a tool here. Now you've got two places where you're going to drop your screws in. Like I said, you've only got 6 screws, and this is with a 2mm hex drive. The recessed screws, they only go in one way. They're very obvious. Okay, and that one went in with absolutely no issue whatsoever. This one looks like it has a little bit of gap, so I'll use this back screw as a pivot point, and I'll push in there. Oh, it lined right up, it went right in. So, no problem at all. Okay. All right, now we're going to turn the model over, try and being careful not to hit the rudders that are still locked in place. I love the way those fit in there. They literally lock themselves in place. Be a little bit better there. Okay. All right. Again, get it lined up on the wing spar. Okay. Then you want to grab the one that's not labeled is aileron. Okay. And the reason I didn't check the servos on this is because they're easily serviceable. I could just take the wing right off, service whatever, and then I don't have to worry about it. Nothing's glued in place. It's all held in with a bolt. All right, so light to light, dark to dark. My polarity is perfect. Okay, feed that in there, tuck as much back into the wing, to that large cavern that's there, and start pushing my wing on. Pay attention to the connections, they don't get pinched. Tell you what, I do not remember this wing being so tight. But that's okay. Like I said, tight model is a well put together model. Let's get that front one done. Where are my tools at? Get it in place. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Fell down in the wheel well. Yeah, that's someone had to push that on there a little bit more than that. Make sure don't have any wires sticking out there. Okay. All right. Okay. Take the other one. You get one extra screw, it looks like. Now it should be lined up now. Okay. Now there we go. You know what, that front one's not lined up completely. Let me redo this front one here. I'm just not real happy with the seal I've got. Okay. I'm pressing the model against my body to get that wing to line up just right. All right. Yeah. All right, starting to look a lot like an airplane. All right, now we can pay our. Now we still got that one screw stuck in there, but have to fish that out later. Luckily, you get one extra screw, so that's all you got, the one extra screw. All right, now we'll be hooking up our horizontal stabilizer. This is the side that will go down. There's a channel right here. Remember that groove I showed you in the unboxing? There's a screw that goes in there. Okay. That's just going to go in there like that. Okay. You're going to drive this screw in until you feel it press onto the metal. Try not to drop the screw, because at this point, like I say, you only get the one extra screw. It's kind of obvious where the screw goes. Okay. Like now I can feel it. So I screw that in. I can kind of feel a little bit of resistance there. But you want to tighten it down enough to where it is flush there, but that is not going to come off, and that's going to freely rotate. Okay, come over here. Repeat the same process. There's a channel right here, slides right in. Grab your screw. Like I say, you get one extra screw. Okay. Tighten that up. Kind of hold it in place. And you'll want to, and that screw will end up being flush right there. We'll see it, it's obvious. When the bottom is out, it's very obvious. Tighten it up. You'll feel a little bit of resistance in the elevator, but let it go all the way to the bottom. It's obvious when it won't go any further. should slightly disappear underneath that edge here, underneath the edge of that plastic structure. All right, and that, folks, is the, well, let's go ahead and put all our missiles on, okay? Our missile peripherals. And they're big to medium to smallest is the arrangement that they go in, okay? So the biggest ones have these like square vane structures. They go on the inside. They push in and they push towards the rear of the airplane, okay? And then you're going to grab the medium-sized one. It goes in the middle. And then the smallest one that have the little stripes on it go all the way out on the end. Okay, so large towards in the middle, okay? Medium right next or in the middle. And then large, or the small, is all the way out. And of course, this is the one that's going to fight me. All right. And that, folks, is the basic assembly of the Arrows MIG 29. All right, the next video will be the radio setup. And you say, well, you didn't hook up your elevators. I don't hook up the elevators with these push rods until I have the receiver installed and she's bound up and she's ready for that. And I got to find the other one anyways. So, all right, well, there you go. We'll come right back with a radio setup video next. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends. Hobby Zone, thank you for the MIG. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends. And the Jets.